Why do so many men lack so much direction in their fitness goals? I see it everywhere. They go into the gym with no plan, they have no idea what they're doing, and they just have no clue where they're headed, or they don't understand what they should be doing to head where they want to go. So in this video, I promise you I'm going to cover everything that you need to know to create you the perfect plan to get from where you are now with your fitness goals to where you want to be. Obviously I could do this about anything, not just fitness goals, but we're going to talk about why I'm the person to do it for fitness goals and not anything else. So let's dive in, no wasting time. Important before we start though, is that I'm going to give you a proof, some promise, and a plan for this video. In the last year alone, I've worked with hundreds of men, that is around the ages of 20s to 30s, that's kind of like the brand, that's who I work with the most, who come to me completely lost with their fitness goals. They've pretty much tried everything from fad diets to workouts, following fitness influencers that don't teach them anything, they just look good on camera, but nothing seems to stick. And if that sounds like you, then you're in the right place. But now, these same guys are not only leaner, but they're also stronger and have built habits that will last them for a lifetime. If you are new in this video, then you might not know that I am a completely online coach. I mean, if you could probably tell from that kind of little brief segment alone. And also, do not worry about me covering the words, because it is just for me to prompt some ideas on what I need to say. But I know exactly how it feels to be stuck, because I was that guy too. I used to hit the gym with no real plan, doing random workouts and wondering why I wasn't seeing results. For me, I never really struggled with getting to the gym or having motivation to go to the gym. I had the desire to go. I was going sometimes twice a day, 7 days a week, because I was so tired of not being skinny, tired of being skinny I should say, and I was just kind of hitting the gym and I was just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck. Like, I was not really having anything in place, and that resulted in a lot of subpar results and a lot of wasted time as well. So in this video, I'm going to prevent all of that from happening for you, and also a way how you can get your own plan created for completely free, and where you can actually find stuff like that as well. But quick one is the plan. So what will we actually cover in this video, and how do you know if you should stay in the video knowing what we're going to cover today? Here's what we're going to cover: why most men have no real direction with their fitness, the 3 biggest mistakes keeping you from your progress, a step-by-step framework to finally take control of your fitness goals. So if anything sounds interesting of those first 3 things, stick around, because this might be the exact mindset shift that you need to stop spinning your wheels and start crushing your goals. Like I said, if you go into the gym with no real plan or not measuring anything, I know it sounds tedious, but if you are not actively going in there with an idea of what you are going to do, what weight you're going to lift, you are pretty much wasting time unless you are going in solely for the purpose of burning calories, like getting on the treadmill or getting on the Stairmaster. If you want to make real progress, you are going to need to track, and that is, you're either going to have so much pain where you are now where tracking feels worth it, or you have to build up the passion where you no longer feel like tracking is painful for you. Like, you build the passion, and when you track, it just becomes on autopilot. I think that's what you need to be doing. But who am I actually to speak on this topic? If this is the first video you've clicked on, or a podcast episode you've ever clicked on, I'm going to talk about who I am and why I can speak on this topic. I mean, you've already kind of understood a little bit from me, but I used to be a PT, personal trainer, slaving the gym floor, being paid by the hour like a blank. I'm not going to say it because in case I get monetized at some point, maybe. I hope to get monetized at some point when I get some more views. But we don't worry about it, we're not optimizing for that. I would teach my clients form, but I had no idea what somebody was doing outside the gym sessions, which is why people struggle to get results. Again, PT sessions only consist 1 hour in somebody's day, usually even 1 hour per week. So when I had that session, although I was teaching them everything they needed to know in the gym, I'd give them the plan, but how did I actually know they were sticking to the plan? And it wasn't until I went into online coaching, where I would even call it coaching, I would almost call it mentoring. Like, I am now guiding somebody through the principles that I had, or I didn't have, towards a goal faster for me. Because people always see the results, see somebody been training for 2 to 3 years, but they don't understand how many mistakes that person made and how actual fast you can get to that same point if you didn't make the same mistakes. Again, there's no cheating results. Don't get me wrong here. There's no secret sauce that would get, well, there is, but I would advise not doing that just because. But the idea is that you can make results a lot faster than what I did, and that's what I'm here for. It wasn't until I stopped chasing quick fixes and started to focus on long-term discipline, long-term habits, and identifying change that is where everything clicked. And obviously, for my full-time job now, I now mentor men to avoid the same mistakes and get real, lasting results. Hopefully that all made sense. So what is actually my goal then? Like I said, if you're new here, my name is Ryan McIntyre. I coach men in their 20s and 30s to build muscle, get strong, create lifelong habits, and turn them into future role models for their families. I'm going to do this very quickly because this is a little bit of a plug. I'm learning as I go along, so please use what's helpful and forget the rest. I think a lot of people forget that. I am only 20, so when I give you advice on fitness, this is what I know most things about, but I'm not going to give you life advice, or if I do, take it on the chin. That's life advice coming from me. Like, expect that it's not going to be great advice. But fitness, I probably have more of a background in fitness than a lot of people. I'd say 90% of people, so that's what I feel like I can teach the best. But if you like what I have to say and you want to master your progress, if you send a DM to my Instagram account at Ryan McIntyre Coaching, it is link in bio. No, not link in bio. Link in description, sorry. Of the YouTube video. If you're on the podcast, then it is what it is. Where we can actually have a conversation about your situation to see if or how I can help. And I'd love to create your free muscle building blueprint, which is basically going to be a free program to help you have a little bit more direction in your fitness goals and how you can adapt it to suit your lifestyle. Other than that, let's jump in. Enough of the shameless plug. But why you are actually here on this video is going to be pretty important, and we should cover that before we dive into the information. But you're probably feeling tired, feeling stuck. You follow different workout programs and seen some results, but in the moment life gets busy, everything falls apart. Because you don't have someone, or you don't actively change your program based on how your lifestyle is. Let's say you can normally train 5 times a week, but as soon as your boss needs you to work a little bit more or work later hours, all of a sudden you need to go from 5 times a week, maybe down to 4 or 3. But the idea is not just taking out one of the workouts and doing 4, like taking out a leg day, only doing chest, back, whatever. You actively have to completely change your program to full body instead of training maybe 2 muscle groups a week, if you know what I mean. So 5 days a week, you take out your leg days, you need to be training legs. I'm sorry, because you'll just look like a comic book character. And that's why you need to adapt your program based on your scenario and your situations. Or maybe you are tired of following programs, staying motivated for a few weeks, and then life gets in the way and you slid right back into old habits. Again, kind of touching on the familiar point, is that maybe when you get into a work habit, you lose the habit of going to the gym. And it's important to know that you're not alone, especially if what I said just resonated with you, because most men go through this and they're missing one thing. It's direction. They don't really know where they're going, and they don't understand. They don't have a clear goal, and we're going to touch on that a little bit later on about having a clear why. I'm sure you've heard that before. But What are actually the 5 biggest reasons men lack direction in their fitness goals? And again, you can probably easily recognize at least one of these, maybe even 2 or 3 of these, especially if you've clicked on this video. Number 1 is no clear why. Most guys start because they want to get in shape, but what does that actually mean? Like, whenever I was a PT or an online coach, when somebody says they want to get into shape, there's always like an underlying reason of why they want to get in shape. Like, what is bad about your scenario now that makes you want to get into shape? Like, there is something that is you're going to be running from realistically. Because if you don't feel like you're in shape now, what is the underlying reasons why you're not? Because that's not deep enough. I'm about a strong enough reason. Motivation will disappear when things get hard. Again, you have to be in some sort of pain to start where you are to get where you want to be. Like, I was so tired of being skinny that I was in so much pain that I just wanted to get as much muscle as possible, which led to me bulking like crazy. Then obviously I had to cut the fat, and then I realized that losing fat was difficult for a lot of people, and I understood why, and that's why I am a fat loss coach, because I realized it was difficult, but I understood what works well and what doesn't. Obviously for me, and then you try out different things, but ask yourself, why does getting in shape or losing fat or gaining confidence matter to you? And how will it impact your family, your career, and your confidence? So many people think fat loss is just about fitness, but it impacts everything in your life. Like how you turn up, how you show up for your family, how you show up for work. It can literally be the difference between you getting a pay rise or you getting fired, just because of how you show up for your work. And people don't realize that, but the moment you lose the weight, you realize you're a whole different person. Obviously you don't realize it until you lose weight. Number 2 is too much information and absolutely no action. One video says bulk, another says cut, one influencer says high reps, another says low reps, and because there's so much information, you do nothing. And this is called decision fatigue. So when there's so many different options, you're like, all this shiny stuff, you don't know what to pick or you don't know what to go for, because there's too many options. There's too many like things in grabbing distance, and it overwhelms you. And that's the one thing you don't want to do, is overwhelm who you're trying to help. And that's why I'm trying to clam all this. I say clam, give you no fluff, put everything in one video, and that can basically allow you to get direction and understand that you can try different stuff. Like, you can try a bulk, you can try a cut, you can try what works for you. The idea is not being worried about committing, because I think so many people don't want to commit because they feel like they've got to commit for a certain amount of time. Pick one path and stick with it for at least 90 days. I just contradicted myself there. But progress comes from consistency, not perfection. To be fair, if you bulk then cut, then bulk then cut, you can still gain muscle during both those periods. Like, it doesn't change muscle building, especially if you're still in your first couple of years of lifting. It just depends on your active goals right now, what you want to pursue the most, and you're going to get more results if you commit all your time to muscle building or all your time to fat loss than doing it 50-50. So you pick one and dial in, and you'll see how much results you can actually get. Number 3 is that you have absolutely no accountability. When you have no one checking in on you, it's easy to cut corners and make excuses, and that's how people quit. A mentor, coach, or accountability group. Accountability groups are free. Obviously, I'm not going to touch on the other 2 because this is going to be another plug for not even just my coaching, but online coaching in general. Accountability groups, there is probably thousands of Facebook groups, thousands of fitness Facebook groups where you can be set daily challenges, like free challenges that I run as well, where you can show up in a group, you can speak to other people that are going through the same thing that you are, and motivate each other and understand what's working for someone else or what's working for that guy or this girl. You can use that and be like, okay, you can direct copy. I mean, it doesn't really matter, it's because it's fitness. Or you can adapt it to make sure it fits to your schedule or your lifestyle, because these will hold you to a higher standard, keep you locked in, even when life gets tough. And that's the most important thing, is you don't need accountability when you wake up in the morning, sun shining, had a great sleep, dial up on caffeine. You don't need that accountability. It's only when things are going to get tough, it's good to fall back on these type of things. I think this is number 4. Number 4 is short-term thinking. Most men think chasing quick fixes instead of focusing on identity change. They want abs in 6 weeks, but they don't want to think about staying fit for life. The important thing is that getting abs is one goal in itself, but having abs all year round is a completely different goal. Like, I'm an advocate for getting plump at Christmas, getting plump on your birthday, getting plump for on your holiday, like eating a lot on your holiday. But the idea is finding events that you want to look good for, cutting down, understand how you feel, how your hunger levels are signaling. It's important to get in shape at least once in your life and understand the differences, how you feel there and how you feel maybe when you gain a little bit more fat, because you'll realize the difference is mental. The goal isn't to get in shape, it's become the man who stays in shape no matter what. And I think that depends on a certain level of like what you consider in shape, of course. Like, I think there should be a set point. When you lose the weight, you're never always going to bounce back up, but realistically as well, you're going to go from maybe having abs to being a bit more plump. Maybe you might vary by about 5 to 10 pounds throughout the year, and that's completely normal, I think. But there's a certain level of obviously being in shape, still training, and still getting results as well. Like, when you're the most plump, you should be your strongest. And finally, we have lack of discipline, not motivation. Motivation is great, but it's temporary. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation disappears. I'm sure you've heard this all the time, so I'm not going to go through it too much. But winners show up even on the worst days, and that is the difference. Because they have, like I said, a pain. Either they had a pain to get them going, to create the passion, or they now have the passion strong enough where it becomes on autopilot. So they built the passion. Like, I know obviously no longer have the pain of being skinny or being fat or anything like that. I now have the passion to continue going in the gym because I've built up the habit of going. So those two combined is what you need to focus on. And obviously I've just put discipline over motivation always. I hate the word motivation. It actually gets on my nerves. Like, when somebody, I mean, I'm not going to say clients, but like when people are like, give me some words of motivation or motivate me to go, or like, realistically, if you're asking me to like give you motivation, like you're in a rough spot. And I think you've got to ask yourself, why do you want the motivation? Why do you need the motivation? How these mistakes are going to sabotage your progress. So we have a little bit here. We have 3 on this page. But one thing, like I said, is constantly restarting means you have no momentum. When you keep stopping and starting, you lose momentum, and without momentum, progress becomes impossible. I think I've put on the next slide, I think it's something that Alex Hormozi said, where, and this is more business related, but people keep jumping from business to business every 6 months, and they keep living the first 6 months of a business every single time. Like the 6 months, they keep living every single time, the same ones for 20 years. So they live the same 6 months every single 6 months for 20 years. I don't know why that took me so long to get to that, but you get the point. When you keep stopping and start, I've already said that. Frustrating and burnout. Trying different plans and seeing no results ends up leading to frustration, which is why people quit and give up completely. I think that comes under the fact that people don't track, or they can't be bothered tracking, or they don't want to track, or they don't track enough. Is because if you have no results to show, or if you don't have anything written down, or you're not measuring anything, of course you're going to be annoyed, of course you're going to be burned out, because you actively have nothing to compare to. You're looking at your body and you're still not happy, and you're still not happy, and you're still not happy. You just keep going and going and going. That's why progress photos are the most important thing to take, and not just hopping the scale, because you can go months without the weight on the scale changing, and that can be quite disheartening because you're not seeing any results, well, from what you're tracking anyway. And number 3 is never building the right identity, because you can't outwork a broken identity. Until you see yourself as a disciplined, fit man, you'll always fall back into bad habits. To leave where you are now to get where you want to be, you have to leave your old self behind. And I think so many people become attached, especially to certain groups of people or certain audiences, have maybe going out on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday and drinking every night. It's like you have people in your life that are obviously not good for you, and I feel like you know that. And it's about either cutting down the time you're spending with them and managing that a little bit better, or cutting them out completely. And someone has to say it, but you might have to look in the mirror of your friends. And, well, you can't really look in the mirror of your friends, but you know what I mean? Like, look them in the eyes and understand, like, is this person helping me help achieve my goal of what I want to get, or is this person sabotaging me? And just a reminder of the quote: most people live the same 6 months for 20 plus years. Again, that was business related, but Alex Hormozi, again, he started off as a personal trainer. He's a very big guy as well. Like, he's not just a business owner, he's very, like, active. He's absolutely massive, to be fair. The game plan is to get back on track. So this is what's going to help you right here. This is the action taker slide. So, number 1 is you need to define your why. Define your why. Dig deep. Don't just say, I want to lose weight. Ask yourself why this matters and how it will impact your future. And if it is really that important in terms of when you ask yourself that, that's where I feel like you should start to invest in a coach or an accountability group. Because I think a coach is better than an accountability group, just because not only are you committing socially to someone else, but you're also committing financially. So you have almost 2 packs, like 2 contracts that you've created for yourself, and you don't want to, 1, make it a waste of money, 2, you don't want it to be, you don't want to let down your coach or the people in your life knowing that you signed up to a coach. Pick one plan and stick with it. Stop program hopping. Pick one solid plan and commit for it for 90 days. And again, if you want a plan for 90 days, just let me know. I'll create you one for free, because I'm a nice guy like that. But yeah, trust the process. That's the most important thing. Find real accountability. Get a coach, mentor, or an accountability partner. Again, gym partners are really, really good for when you first start off. First 3 to 6 months, go to the gym every single time with somebody else. The only thing I would say is make sure you have the same plan, because if you don't, then it sometimes gets a bit wacky. You might go to the gym, you might have chest, your partner might have back, then you're just at the gym together and you're just doing completely different stuff. But that still works. Like, I wouldn't say it doesn't work, but this will hold you to a higher standard and won't let you quit, is the most important thing. Focus on discipline over motivation. Train yourself to show up no matter how you feel. Again, follow the plan, not your moods. I think Layla Hormozi says that a lot. I'm just quoting all the Hormozis at this point. But discipline isn't built on good days, it's built on the hard ones. Use your pain as fuel, and your why as well. Use your why as your pain for fuel. Because, I mean, if you're not in pain of where you currently are now, then you're not going to be able to push through while it's tough. Because the idea gym technically creates pain, but creates pain for an easier tomorrow, is what I like to say. Final message and how I can help. So we'll do a quick summary of the key takeaways, and then I'll ask you to do some action. So key takeaways is that lack of direction is why most men are stuck in the same cycle, again, living the same 6 months for the next 20 years. Fix your why, your plan, and your accountability, and your results will follow. Again, you know where to find me, at Ryan McIntyre Coaching. Send me a DM. You can easily get some help there. This isn't about getting in shape for the summer. It's about becoming the kind of man who stays fit for life. Again, you want to have good cardiovascular levels to be able to play around with your future kids. If you don't have kids yet, play around with your kids now, because there's going to become a time where your kids are going to notice that, and it's going to be quite a reality check for you. So make sure you start early. The easiest time to start is now. Well, it's actually when you're born, but now the second best time is today. So please do not delay this, because it's so important to get fit, especially with the increase of more processed foods and more foods that can potentially damage your health. But the final thing is, I want to hear your opinions. So drop in the comments. I'm sounding like a dictator with that. Which of these struggles resonated with you the most in terms of the 5 biggest reasons why you're stuck? So you can go back and see which of those 5, which one do you struggle and resonate with the most, and then you can drop a subscribe if you thought this was useful, and if you want to see more videos like this in your inbox, because I'm here to give you as much value as I can with no BS. I'm trying my best, but again, remember, like I said, I'm learning as I go along, so please forget the bad information and take on the good stuff. And if you actually do want to work with me, again, I'm not going to pitch anything, but you can apply for my one-to-one coaching program in the description below, and finally build the body and mindset that lasts forever. The only reason I say apply there is because I have no idea who's going to be watching this video. I have no idea if I'm actually going to be able to help you. I'm just saying apply to see if you would be a good fit, and if I would be a good fit for you. Because if you're to sign up with a month or 2, you're not enjoying it, or you're not getting any results, have your money back. Like, that's not the whole point I'm doing this. I'm trying to change your life, and if you're not a good fit to have your life changed, then you can get out the door with your money, as I'm not here to take your money. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, the YouTube video up here, YouTube recommends that one to watch next, so if you enjoyed this one, you'll probably enjoy that one as well. But peace.